right, what's going on, everybody?
It's talk time.
It's talk time.
It's talk time, and this has been an interesting day, long day, as it is for anybody who's starting anything entrepreneurial. I've been wearing the same shoes since 6 a.m. It's 9 o'clock. One of those days, right? I know you've been going at it, doing your thing.
Staying busy like always. But yeah, it's been a great day. Staying very active, so that's amazing.
Yeah, we're very excited to have some podcasts coming up here very soon.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking to talk with local artists and business owners, musicians, folks who are making changes. Not just in Sherman and Denison, but beyond as well.
People that are basically kind of standing themselves out and showing all the effort and work that they're putting into, what they love to do or what they really enjoy and making it awesome.
And I think that's the key thing, is making it into something, because, how many people do you talk to regularly who have great ideas? But I think sometimes everyday life just kind of catches up with you and you feel like you're just in a never-ending cycle, right? You work, you go home, and where do you find the time to create something? Right. It's monumental. So we're here to sort of demystify the process. It's actually quite simple, right? As we've been discovering, you just get out there and just start doing things.
Pretty much. Really, I didn't even go out and do a whole lot of things until David was like, all right, yeah, what are you doing this weekend? I want to introduce you to whoever. And then now we kind of have like a little group with a couple other people, which is fun. And it's a great time. It's a awesome way to meet new people. But
seriously, that would be a good thing to kind of touch up on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is where to go to try and meet new folks. I know it can be a bit of a challenge for people our age. It's something that I think we're still actively trying to figure out ourselves. And we happen to have pretty healthy friend groups,
right?
But there's no clear answer. It's pretty hard if you're someone new to town, or if you've always kind of kept to yourself and you decide you want to break out. Where do you begin, right?
Yeah, even the the shy people and all that, it's tough.
That's a huge one, yeah.
What is it? But yeah, it's really, other than if you're not doing like hobbies or stuff like that, there's not really a clear way to go and meet a bunch of people other than obviously talking online. There's a couple things you can do for that, but it's really
like a Reddit kind of thing, some sort of an online community.
Pretty much. It's nothing really that great.
Yeah, if you wanted to get that real life connection, it's tough. And I don't know if you've ever this is a bit of a sidetrack, but it does kind of tie in. I don't know if you ever consider yourself more of an introvert or an extrovert. Where do you find yourself as far as that goes?
Introvert, for sure.
Is it something that you've had to overcome over the years to kind of push past the shyness?
For sure. It's even through like high school and all that. I kept myself a lot because I just felt more comfortable. It's kind of like it was like a comfort zone sort of deal. So no, I've definitely been fixing that throughout this last couple years or so. So it's been good. It's really great for work because I'm talking to a lot of people on a daily basis. And either meeting new people that are interesting people that come in and I talk to, but it just kind of helps solve those skills as well.
Right, because if you don't talk to them, how are you going to make the sale?
Right.
You got to get to know them a little bit. It's not as simple as just being robotic and just handling the transaction, right? What about repeat business? What about establishing a connection? What about actually being there for them, right? Outside, because I think that's the big thing too, right? With businesses, a lot of folks actually do want to help, right? And sometimes help can come in a different form, right?
Exactly.
It's like, for example, you know, when I worked for a moving company a while back, you know, someone would call in and they'd have an unrelated question. You know, we might take the time and actually help them find something, right? Let's say they were lost. We might get on our own computers and say, hey, you know, this is the route. We'll never see them, but it's one example of how you could help out.
Yeah, I mean,
go beyond the scope of what you do.
It's enough to kind of establish some sort of relationship with them, and you know, be able to talk to them. You know, just about how their day was. It can even be the small things like that. You know, how was your day? You know, you've been staying busy today. What's going on? And you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, no doubt. And you've definitely been working on it hard, because when I first met you, it never struck me that you would have been an introvert. I would have guessed extrovert. Maybe you'd have introvert tendencies, right? Because I always feel the distinction is that introverts need the alone time to recharge, whereas extroverts, you know, they get that boost from people.
Right.
Which is why I know I'm extrovert, because very rarely.
I know.
For sure.
I mean, the way that you go out and the fact that you know so many people is crazy, because with me being more introvert when I was younger to, you know, I want to say somewhat recently, it's crazy to see how many people you know, because you know, you just kind of talk to everybody like you just know everybody, which is cool. I mean, that's a great quality, but it blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah, and that's all it takes. It's like you said, you just go up and you just talk with folks. You know, obviously, I think there's you know, you got to be understanding that not everyone's going to be your friend.
Right.
Not everyone's going to get along well.
Mm-hmm.
Surprises will happen, and it's normal. It's normal. Sometimes things, you know, might break away, and you just have to accept it. You have to understand that, yeah, it might not work out. It's a possibility, right?
It's a great time, but it's over, and you know, no hard feelings, you know.
Exactly. Ultimately, you just look at it, you go, hey, you know, it's when you do have that moment where, you know, because obviously if you're befriending people and meeting people, you know, I think the ideal circumstance would be that everyone's your friend, but sometimes, you know, folks will go on separate paths, and it's a good thing for them to be well, in the grand scheme of things, so that you could always take solace in that. You know, maybe you end on a bad note in a personal context, but when you zoom out, you think, okay, yeah, I definitely wish no ill will, because there's an effect, right? There's like a net effect,
right,
that those folks have in their own social circles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little strange.
It is. It's something I've listened to lectures about on YouTube. You know, YouTube has so much good stuff. YouTube is such a weird thing, right? You can go either way. But anyway, I don't mean to go on a tangent on YouTube. This is a juicy subject, so.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting topic to talk about. I think what we should talk about kind of is what we're wanting to do, other than just like kind of in terms of going out and talking to business owners and all that sort of deal. Just kind of more in depth on that.
Yeah, I think there are many layers to that, because number one, obviously when it comes to a business, you know, you're curious about the products, you're curious about whatever services they might provide, and you kind of want to get a sense of what they do. Then there's, you know, sort of another component where it's always cool to get sort of a backstage look, maybe a couple nuggets of wisdom from the business owner, right? Get a sense of what it took for them to get to where they're at. And then furthermore, you keep peeling into the layers, and you start seeing, you know, there's a person behind it, right? And you start thinking, okay, what's the backstory? How did they end up there? Sometimes some business owners start off on a completely unrelated path before they ended up on their business, you know, and it makes for a fascinating story. And I think that there's a lot of inspiration to be drawn that I believe, and I believe this, I mean, I will defend this, I believe can motivate people to get out and just try for themselves. Because I think when you see that someone else accomplishes something, it brings it into your realm of possibility.
Right. Yeah, there's just so many examples of some small businesses or such like that have really grown themselves to make incredible businesses of themselves, or let's say they did something totally different, but they still made something very big.
Yeah, like the first acquaintance I ever made in the Denison Sherman area, she started her business off as an as seen on TV store, and then eventually it became a full-on restaurant. So it's really cool to see the change.
It's very cool, man. What is it? I mean, even some of y'all will hear the fact that some people we're going to end up talking to, or even some of our friends now that have their own sort of business deal, and can kind of give us the insight on that to hear more about how it works, because running a business and all that is a tough thing. It's tough to start. It's tough to get everything legal in order, and it's tough to follow the rules and everything on how to get it going. But once you get that kind of down, it's kind of a bit easier to get it going.
I think so. Yeah, I think that much like almost anything in life, there are always going to be those external forces there to dissuade you. There are always going to be reasons to give up or to stop, step away, back away, go away.
Right.
But I think that when you don't, even if you don't have the roadmap, it doesn't mean you should give up. I think at that point, it's like, well, you know what? If you got a blank piece of paper in front of you instead of a full-on map, well, create your own map. And that's going to mean that you're going to run into some weird places for sure, as I have. I have many stories, as I will tell eventually. I don't want to, share all my misfortunes now at once. And so, well,
the thing is, there's so many stories. I know only very few of them, but the thing is, Dave and I were always going out to different places, and there's always new stories. Like almost every other day, there's a new story, and it's crazy. Especially since we just came back from a couple other small towns where they were doing some stuff, and we were just kind of pushing it along to kind of help grow.
Yeah, I mean, we were in Honey Grove this last weekend for the first ever spring stroll, which honestly is going to be one of our most memorable moments ever, because the rain was pouring down, but the town gathered resources, utilized the fire station, and the energy in there was unreal.
Yeah,
people were dancing, having a good time, and made the most of it. Yeah, so really. I don't know, it didn't feel like a normal rainy day, which, the rainy day sort of has that connotation of kind of being sort of a downtrodden occurrence. Even though I personally like rainy days, it makes me want to kind of sit by the window, drink some coffee, read a book, or maybe just hold a book in my hand. That counts as reading in my world. It's like, oh, I'm reading a book. It's like I'm holding it in my hand and I'm looking at it. So clearly I'm reading this.
We're just relaxing.
Yeah, I'm reading this. I'm on the same page, for 15 minutes. But anyway, but yeah, they turned it upside down, and I mean, it was just radiating.
The thing is, originally it was supposed to be a wine walk. I'm still not exactly sure what a wine walk is, but I know that was the main goal of it, and I know the rain kind of dampened everything.
Yeah, the rain, unfortunately, it just takes over, and it just, what can you do, right? What can you do?
Right.
I've noticed that a lot of towns in DFW and even beyond kind of have their own version of a wine walk, and it's neat. A lot of times, just a great opportunity to sort of, walk around, meet some of the business owners, of course, sample some wine, right? It's a wine walk. Right. Maybe even run into some neighbors, and I think there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes in community events. You've got people that maybe haven't talked in a long time that are rekindling. You have people out on dates. You have, people just wanting to hang out. Maybe they get, know a friend, get to know someone right then and there. Yeah. There's more to it, I think, than just a simple
drinking wine.
Yeah, drinking wine. Oh, and you walk around through the stores. I think there's more magic for sure that takes place.
Kind of going back to the whole meeting people deal. That's another good opportunity for that sort of sort of interaction.
It's true. It's true. Because that's something that we will attempt to find an answer for in our travels, in our podcasts, in our conversations with people. Because I think it's the only way is through investigation. And, hopefully the insights we provide will help kickstart efforts. Because I think if everybody, well, obviously I don't want to say everybody, right? Not every single person can or should or wants to get involved. But, there might be some who just need that slight bit of encouragement.
Right.
And that's our goal, is to kind of give folks a glimpse of what it takes to start something, or what it's like to keep something running. Because that's another thing, right? That's I think a big point of how do you say?
Trying to show what's going on behind the scenes in terms of
that, and also I think that there's a fear of keeping something running, right?
Right.
Because it kind of makes you think of cars, right? You think of an exotic car, you think, whoa, that thing is awesome. Right. Okay, yeah, for the first couple of drives, it's amazing. Mm-hmm. But what are your upkeep costs? How are you going to deal with depreciation? Right. How are you going to get it serviced? Right? Mm-hmm. It's how long would you be able to sustain it for? If you got the average budget, probably not very long, right? And without even going exotic, you could apply that in another context, right? Like I love muscle cars. Ooh, muscle cars, awesome. But the reality is, you start looking at those running costs. How am I going to sustain this? Is my life going to be, 75% geared towards keeping this car running, or what?
Right. Yeah, and there's a lot of upkeep in situations like that. The really the harder thing is when you're doing your own business and all that, is the fact that there's so much competition in terms of all that when it comes to, let's say a big business or whatever. Let's say they're doing something somewhat similar to what you're doing, but at, for example, they do it $2 cheaper. Well, somebody's going to be like, oh, it's $2 cheaper. I mean, I got to do that sort of deal. But really, they're not seeing, who they're kind of helping in that situation.
Yeah, I guess competition can be embraced. But you're right. Yeah, I mean, big businesses are definitely something that, definitely a double-edged sword, especially for small towns. Mm-hmm. No doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that, from what I can tell, just my observation, keeping money in the community is kind of a crucial thing. I've definitely, as you know, I looked at many different states to live, and I've noticed that in Vermont, a lot of the folks out there are very, very proud of local vendors and shops and businesses, and they seem to have a sort of a popular and I guess a popular commitment towards keeping those businesses local and running.
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a good example of that when we were in Allen and all that. I mean, I know they're bigger cities, but they still try to keep, the small business feel in a certain area. The thing is, it's more, from what I can tell, is it's more in downtown areas. It's more like if it's downtown, that's where they're kind of celebrating that sort of deal.
That is true. I've noticed that too, yeah. Big towns.
Trying to, full force small business or local business or...
It's a good setup.
Yeah.
It's a good setup. Because,
stuff like that.
Right. The small businesses, those big box companies do provide great deals. I mean, it's hard to argue, right? They're the lifeblood in a lot of places. But it's good to have that balance of the unique stuff, the one-off, the quirky, the random conversation starters. Gotta have those. And I think that they also contribute to the local flair and culture of an area. So very important, no doubt. So our goal in the next coming months, like we were talking about, is to inspire some people. Gotta get out of the house. There's so much to do out there.
There's a lot to do.
It's
a lot to do.
It's very much the classic adventure story. You go, okay, I want to go point A, get to point B. But in between,
Is a quest.
It is quite the quest. It can be a bit of a labyrinth, but that's part of the fun, right? A little bit of danger. You get out there and,
Wrestle with the sharks.
Exactly. I wrestled a couple sharks.
Oh yeah,
You're gonna lose a couple times. they were land
this time.
They were land sharks, so they weren't that bad. And that's part of the journey is just putting yourself out there, especially if you have something creative that you can offer. So that's the goal.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting in the next several episodes because I know we've got some good things lined up for all that, and really the thoughts and ideas are limitless.
Yeah, an example
There's
is
so much to do.
No, you're right. We've got Mr. Chow, the owner of AZN Bubble Tea in Durant. We're going to be talking with him very soon. He makes some delicious desserts and bubble tea.
I love the bubble tea, man. I'm all about it.
Yeah, his stuff is on point. And he's got a bunch of, very interesting sort of recipes, as you tried last time. That blue drink. It was really cool looking.
It was
really
a
cool
weird
looking.
kind of like blue boba tea, but it was amazing. It was made from I think he was saying was it from Thailand, and it was like this blue flower and some herb and all that you can only get from Japan. You can't get it in America.
Yeah, we'll definitely find out because I don't remember the details.
I
honestly.
gotta know more.
But we will definitely get a breakdown of that. No doubt about it.
But it's cool stuff. So I'm very excited. We're talking to him very soon. So,
and he's got lots to share too. So, and his outlook on life is awesome.
Right, it is. It's very cool.
He's one who enjoys spontaneous, happenings. Mm-hmm. He goes with the flow. And there are always little things like that you can kind of take in and incorporate in your own life.
Mm-hmm.
I like my things a little more regimented, although I enjoy spontaneous stuff. I feel like I need more of that in my life, more random occurrences.
More spontaneous.
Maybe he'll redirect some of that energy towards me. Even though for the most part I like to be regimented, you gotta have those random moments. Those random moments are just memorable.
Hey man, when I'm not gonna exactly talk about what one of my plans that I'm kind of really hoping for as well, but it just kind of involves going out further, sort of deal to do all that. So that's all I'll probably say for now. But,
fair enough, exactly.
But I think that's
more
where
content. Yep.
I think that's where the more excitement in terms of more spontaneous stuff is going to happen, which that I'm excited about. But there's so much to do around us now. So
very true. Mm-hmm. But for now, we've taken a step, and that's what it takes, right? Is just taking a step.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if you have anything else you want to add to that.
Yeah, we've taken the first big leap, so we're officially in.
Yep, it's official. It's talk time.
It's talk time.
All right, thank you all. Hope you all liked it. Please help us out and share us online.
Especially me. Please help me out. Oh, wait. This is the wrong platform for that. Anyway, yes. Help us out. Thank you so much.
Y'all have a good one.
Bye.
Ah.